Hello, hello, Ultimate Wellness Tribe. Today I'm speaking with Natalia Naila, a certified health and life coach dedicated to helping individuals unlock their highest potential and live their best lives. Based in Los Angeles, Natalia lives in full alignment with her mission and passion to wellness, and her lovely daughter Sophia shares her passion, embracing the lifestyle and those practices which Natalia brings and which she is dedicated to. And we are excited to welcome Natalia as a featured speaker at the Ultimate Wellness Conference at Faena Forum in Miami Beach on September 26th through 28th. It's going to be a 3-day longevity conference where we feature world-class experts in biohacking and longevity, cutting-edge health technologies, eco-friendly products, and of course, immersive experiences and practical workshops. So it provides not only amazing opportunity for networking and business development, but also a retreat for whole family, because we even offer kids lounge supported this time by Centner Academy. They will provide several classes each day for your children, so make sure to take all your family and join us, and purchase your ticket now before price increases with a special promo code Natalia at the ultimatewellness.miami/forum. Welcome. Thank you, Natalia, for supporting. Thank you for joining me today. I have a few questions. I follow you on Instagram, and I really impressed by your biohacking routine and dedication to wellness. Of course, I want to know a little bit more about your practices. So thank you for your time.
Thank you, Julia, for inviting me to come to your podcast. As you know, I have my own podcast in Hollywood, and I love interviewing people, but sometimes I get very shy now these days to be interviewed.
Don't be shy, please. And we just should have just conversation about biohacking and wellness. I know you're very, very experienced in this, and I really like that you educate your daughter and she follows your principles, as well as my daughter, Alexa. She's so excited about this year kids lounge, and she's going to be responsible about bringing kids in time for all these amazing activities. And I'm really grateful to Centner Academy that they provide these really outstanding activities like brain optimization, some body-mind practices for kids. It's going to be really interesting, and I think that Sophia will enjoy it as well. Yeah.
First of all, I really appreciate you doing that, because a lot of conferences, they don't offer such thing. And being a mom, as you know, traveling so much, I experienced last year a tremendous stress from being away from home. And my daughter, every time I left somewhere, she would cry, and she would calculate the days when I come back. And every time I had to go away, it would be put a huge stress on her. And she would be like, do you understand how stressful you're making my life, that I'm not present? And last year I traveled so much for different conferences. And it's kind of cool to bring her to see into this space and give them a space as well to enjoy with other kids so they can get involved. Even though this year she's turning 10, and she's kind of a little bit fed up with my health routines and telling her what to do, not to eat or take the vitamins. She's like, I'm tired of your health things these days. Because I think she's rebelling, but yet she still listens. Like the other day I told her, listen, we got to take some vitamins. And I think like 2 weeks ago, I was trying to push her on to take anti-parasitic pills, because we have a dog, and I haven't, because from what I hear, like we need to clean up if you have a dogs or cats at home from parasitic once a year.
As I have the same situation, we also have our little Yorkie puppy. Teacup is very small, tiny doggy, but still I sometimes cleans him from parasites and making sure to clean ourselves as well. And
your daughter, does she take pills from parasites?
My daughter takes biocidin.
Biocidin, yeah.
Biocidin is really tasty, and my daughter likes this.
Yeah, I know. I've actually taken biocidin in the past month. So yeah, it's actually a pretty good one. I didn't think about it. Thank you for the little tip there.
Yeah, but we always need to switch and circle. And a good suggestion, if you take biocidin like few weeks before gut ID test, or any other microbiome test. Just lately, I incorporated Gut ID test. They are one of our sponsors and really good advanced assessment, microbiome assessment. So you can start taking biocidin like 2 weeks before this test, and it breaks down biofilms. And then on test, you will see how many really bacteria, fungi is, because sometimes when they stick together in biofilms, they will not be even detected on test, on microbiome test. So good suggestion even for clients, for yourself, for your daughter, whoever, take biocidin before doing this microbiome assessment.
Right.
Yes,
Mhm.
yes. And then you will see more bacteria, more fungi, more yeast than if you would see before taking biocidin, because as I said, it breaks down biofilms and they can be detected. Yeah, so gut health is really important, and it influences our mental well-being. So it's very, very good that you think about this gut health and microbiome balance and getting off all parasites, fungi, yeast. I am curious what even brought you to this biohacking and wellness space. And I know that, as you mentioned, you visit a lot of conferences, biohacking conferences, wellness events. You are very, very like in community. I can see that you follow all innovations, you try a lot of devices, and now it seems like you are very experienced. But some time ago, you wasn't new in this space, and obviously you faced some challenges. Where did you start? What was the main challenge? Talking about me, my main challenge was what to test. Once I realized that biohacking is different from lifestyle because of this measurement, like we can follow healthy lifestyle, but until we measure and make adjustments as biohackers do. Biohacking is very data-driven, very personalized. That's what I see difference in just following healthy lifestyle and biohacking, doing like biohacking. So once I started doing biohacking, I was kind of so lost where to start with testing. This is my personal challenge, was like what to test. So I would like to know, where did you start, and what was your main challenge for starting biohacking?
I love this question. Thank you so much. Well, I started really, really looking into wanted to change my health and the way my appearance was after having my daughter. As you know, pregnancy really takes on every woman toll, and we age instantaneously, you want it or not. And especially first year of the childhood, we don't sleep, we don't take care of ourselves, so everything goes downhill. And I looked at myself at the mirror one day and I'm like, oh my God, like in this literally year and a half or 2 years, 9 months pregnancy, and maybe that first 9 months of being a mom, I was shocked. I'm like, I need to change something. I need to really stop here and reverse everything and look at my life and see what I need to do, what I need to learn on every level, from my diet, how to optimize my health, cellular rejuvenation. And at that time, I was already listening to David Sinclair, and I was always curious about health in some point, not to the sense what we're doing right now, but more like an Ayurvedic, Chinese. I was always cleansing my body every 6 months with a Chinese or Ayurvedic medicine. I was always doing acupunctures. I was always kind of like doing some more natural things, but not in the sense where like I understood what really takes to rejuvenate on a deeper cellular level, where you actually do not age as fast. And as you know, after 35, our hormones are plunging. We see every signs of aging, from wrinkles to skin appearance, and even like havoc in our health. So I started seeing a lot of major things. I was getting sick like once a month with my sinuses. And when I get sick, I usually get my sinuses. And that's my weakest point. I don't get sick, like have coughs or anything like that, fevers, just sinus. And it was happening like once a month. And in Beverly Hills for years, I went to Dr. Sugarman. He's like very well-known ENT doctor to celebrities and many people. So, and I would go to him every month. He would check my microbiome in my nose. He would be like, well, there's no bacteria. And so on the third or fourth month, he's like, listen, go see a functional doctor. They need to test you for food sensitivity or some other things that's happening in your body. If there's something else, I'm like, wow, like that was like a big opening for me. And so he gave me one doctor. I went to him. that doctor ran on me moya tox, food sensitivity, and sure enough, I came back with 50 red things like I couldn't be eating, and that would be like, carrot juice in the morning, like with some other vegetables, and I would start my day with the water and lemon and cayenne pepper and a little bit of honey, and all of these things were in the red zone, inflaming me. But I was thinking I am doing really good routines, right? So not knowing that they're inflaming, as soon as I stopped, everything was in the red zone. Literally in 1 month, I had zero any sinus infections, and that's kept me for 2 years. And so I actually took in a note, and I did started doing every 6 months food sensitivity test. In the meantime, we also detected that I was heavy metals exposed. My mercury was out of the roof. It was like it's almost 100. That's really bad. So, and some other heavy metals. So I was pretty toxic, and then that's how, as you know, if you're pretty toxic, your food sensitivity raises up and everything becomes inflamed in the body. So
many foods which you are sensitive to means just that the body is inflamed, that there is a mucosal barrier, intestinal permeability, and once you heal inflammation, then you will have less foods in red zone, as you said. And for me personally, and for my daughter, actually, this food sensitivity test was life-changing as well. We had some rashes on skin with my daughter, and not with me, but with my daughter. And once we performed this food sensitivity mediator release test and identified which foods she's sensitive to and removed those foods from diet, then it immediately give us results like positive changes.
Yeah, people don't realize how it's important to test your gut microbiome, your food sensitivity, and so yes, and I also did my microbiome, and my microbiome was very poor at that time too. It was I would on a scale 100 to I was like 35 healthy microbiome. I'm like, oh my god! So that literally opened me up to everything I wanted to learn. I wanted to change. I wanted to reverse my aging process. I wanted to go in my 40s and 50s and 60s looking as fabulous as I can. What can I do? So that's really started me. And I was in a different business. I was at the fashion industry right before. And I had to pivot even from that industry to say, because my lifestyle didn't really, at this new level, didn't really participate. I couldn't focus being a mom, and it was a very stressful job. I was very successful, but highly stressful. So I had to actually quit my job and start a new career, in a way, not a new career, but become more an engaging mom and start learning everything by myself, cleaning myself, learning, reading the books, following certain people, and finding the best of the best coaches out there. I've spent thousands of dollars across the United States hiring the best of the best. Thank God I could afford that. So, and I've learned a lot from them. They taught me a lot. I cleaned up my body. And then I was like, well, I'd like to do this as a business, So I went and I got a certification. But besides certification, I am just constantly learning from the best of the best, trying everything on myself right now. And literally in the past only 3 years, that really just changed everything. Because now I understand how really, really you need to optimize your body on a cellular level, on a gut level. And thank God my gut right now at 85% perfect. Even sometimes some tests say 90, depends, but I retest every 6 months to a year my gut, making sure I'm on top of it. And that's where the whole optimization comes. Your brain is not foggy, you feel incredible, your skin glows, minimizes your wrinkles, and your energy is out of the roof.
Yeah, I can say you look perfect. And
thank you. It's a lot of work. Look, it's a lot of dedication. It's a happy changing and staying with it. It's not like, I've changed it. Now I can go back to do whatever I want. Not really. It became my lifestyle, and I'm following, strictly with it.
Yeah. Looks like you are very strict with yourself, and it's so interesting how motherhood changed your life and even purpose of your life, and you found this alignment with your purpose. And what I can understand from what you explained, that this diet and nutrition was the basic starting points of your positive changes in all your other protocols. And we know that diet is number one epigenetic influence. And I'm curious, what else is non-negotiable in exactly your nutrition and diet? I know you take a lot of supplements, you incorporate peptides as well, but before we talk about supplements and peptides, which will be my next question, I just want to focus a little bit more about nutrition. What exactly like non-negotiable? What do you usually eat? What is the ratio of macros like protein, carbs, fiber as a group of carbs, and fats? What do you prioritize? For me, it's always question what to prioritize. Some people benefit more from protein because they are fast oxidizers. Some people can allow themselves more carbs or just at least healthy carbs. And of course, fats are very important macronutrient. So interesting. What is your nutrition based on?
Yeah, I would say there's no one diet for anybody. You really have
Sure,
to
sure.
test yourself. And what really pivoted me is my CGM device. I'm actually not wearing it right now, but I will wear it after this weekend. This weekend is pretty busy. CGM device taught me so much about my metabolic health because when I started wearing the first 2 months, even though I thought, ooh, I was eating, good foods, I was like on top of my diet, but everything was spiking glucose. Like, I'm like, what? Every meal, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I was puzzled, and that was 3 years ago. I'm like, oh my God. So then I started the second month. I was like, okay, maybe I'll start dividing. Maybe I'll just eat one ingredient, see how it does, then incorporate two ingredients. And so literally over the years now, I've learned what my diet, and also looking at food sensitivity panels as well, it's been showing me for years that I shouldn't be eating gluten. I'm like really also not shouldn't be eating certain other things. And now my body is clean. And when I do eat a little bit of that, oh, I have like, I can feel it. I can feel it. So
gluten actually not recommended for anyone. So gluten is probably that one of the things that we can recommend for everyone to exclude, as well as glyphosate, as well as processed food. So basically, this is basic recommendations. They are good for everyone. Then what you say with constant glucose monitor is really interesting. What I noticed it with my constant glucose monitor that it's even sometimes like emotional situations causes spikes of my glucose
for
in
sure,
blood.
for
Yes,
sure.
not
And
only
you feel
food.
sleepy. Have you noticed that, when you eat certain foods, even before I started wearing glucose monitor, the whole thing was like, oh, when you eat, listen to your body. Do you feel like you're sleepy after certain foods, or it gives you energy, right? So,
Right. Normally,
so
if we eat the food which is appropriate for us, it should give us energy at least for 3-4 hours, and we don't crave sugar, we don't crave any other snacks, and it means that this food is good for us. So, like, normally it would be good to eat without snacking in between main meals. Like, main meal should be like 3 times per day, and no
yeah.
snacking in between. So that's why also because of constant glucose monitor, we can see how it spikes glucose. Even if you snack a little bit, it will still spike your
Yeah. So for me these days, I would say I'm between keto and paleo. Uh, lots of
Interesting.
protein, lots of veggies. I do very well on protein, and sometimes like because I work out 3 times a week and I do heavy lifting right now, and so that requires a lot of protein. So a little bit protein before workouts, then a big shake, and then like eggs in the morning with some other stuff, and then of course dinner will always be a protein and veggies. And then I try not to eat dinner late. My perfect dinner would be 5:35. That's when I'm at my best. But sometimes when you kind of like get busy and you eat 6:30, even then you kind of feel like, oh wow. And then if I try to eat late, let's say there's scheduling, I'll eat very light. I'll eat something like super small. You know what I mean? That way it's easy to digest before you go to bed and etc. So I would say just do the food sensitivity, CGM device, and then listen to your body.
Yeah, listen to your body is the best
Mhm.
recommendation ever. What do you think about red meat? You mentioned complete protein. Oh, you mentioned protein, but we know that protein is not equal, and some food provides complete protein with all essential amino acids, and some other food does not provide that complete protein. And it's believed that red meat is the best source of complete protein with all amino acids. I also pay a lot of attention to make sure that I have sufficient amount of complete protein in my diet. But what I realized that red meat is not always the best source and not always the best product for promoting longevity. So I try to stick more with red fish and even mix some plant-based food to make sure that I have all these amino acids in my diet. What do you think about red meat?
Well, it's not necessarily how you look at. I thrive. My body thrives on good amount of protein from animals. That
Mm.
means once a week to twice a week organ meats. If I
Uh-huh.
don't get that, I have a pills that I take organ meats. Then I have for sure once a week steak or bison. So that would be
Mhm.
twice a week. Then I have fish once a week, and then I have sardines that I open in the can twice a week. That's
Yeah.
for lunch. Love that.
Mhm.
Or like mussels in the like I'll do the mussels. Or like chicken, a little bit chicken, a little bit turkey, eggs. So I switch it up. I've tried over the years because I've been training since I was 20 years old. Lifting weights. I always had
Mhm.
trainers, and my early trainer he always taught me at that point a good diet for training. Lots of proteins, veggies, and my body thrived on that. And when I experimented with vegetarian raw, I was very weak, didn't
Mhm.
do well. My ferritin levels were plunging. I could not lift it up in any case, any pills, anything. So, and at some point when I started doing these biohacking, one of the really smart doctors, when we were looking at my panels, he goes, well, looking at your medical records over the years, your ferritin kind of like really bad. And in my 30s, my diet wasn't perfect to tell you the truth. So he's like, you need to eat organs twice a week and you need to eat
Mhm.
meat. That's how your body is. And I'm like, yes, I remember in my 20s when I was training hard, when I
Mhm.
did this beautiful, animal protein, switching around with a lot of vegetables, my energy, my body was at the best. And now I've learned that in my 40s. Here we go. I do the same thing and I'm unstoppable. My muscles are amazing. Everything
Mhm.
is great.
Yeah, I have the same story kind of. I used to be vegetarian for 10 years and it was not good for me. And now I obviously eat uh, meat and obviously fish and fatty fish. It's also omega-3 and this is the best natural source of omega-3. Omega-3 is essential for women health and there is no better source of omega-3 than fatty fish. We have some good supplements on the market such as Body Buyer and krill oil, but fatty fish is the best source of omega-3 as well.
Yeah, the foods, and you have to be very conscious about where you buying your produce. I'm very, very conscious. I order my all fish from Alaska from certain farms.
Mm.
I order my meat from US Wellness, all grass fed, grass finished. Even my doggy
Mhm.
gets prime meats. She's a raw eater. She's a total carnivore diet.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
My
cool.
daughter though, and I'm okay with that. She is 100% vegetarian. And she
Hmm.
chose herself
Hmm.
at 5 years old that she's going to be vegetarian. And it's been already almost 5 years that
Mhm.
now that I'm kind of waiting for that switch. When will she? Because now I can see that she's tired of the same vegetables, the same kind of like the
Hmm.
same, because there's not much variety you can offer. Like if you can do like, in Russian, a little kotletki, a little this. So, so sometimes I try to sneak in like chicken nuggets. She still, I don't know, doesn't really get put it together that chicken nuggets is chicken. So at least once a week, I'm trying to like little like chicken nuggets in her like lunchbox.
That's
But
cool. Yeah. My daughter lately surprised me with her choice of additional subjects at middle school. Next year, she goes to middle school, and they were choosing those additional subjects, together with like main subjects. They would have some debates, music, dance, PE, and something else. And there was a lot of interesting subjects. And the first she chose, it was activities outside, like PE. And I was like, why? You have so many other alternatives. You can choose something more interesting because it's limited number. And she said, no, I don't want to see it at all time inside the school. I won't go outside. I want to move my body. And for her, it was like non-negotiable. Like, no,
That's
I want to
beautiful.
move.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, that's beautiful.
Yeah, I have thought about some good positive changes in school on like administration level, that there will be operos to have at least one PE per day. But yeah, still it's the matter of choice. If our kids are educated, they can choose what to eat at that, birthday parties and at even some celebrations at school. They always have some junky food at school when they celebrate anything, and I can do anything with that. So there always will be places where you can drink sugary drinks, some candies, and something else with toxins. Yeah, but they can make their choices. Yeah, this
I
is so
think,
important.
honestly, going back to motherhood really quick, choices start with parents teaching the kids at the first bites when they start introducing solid foods. And I've learned that, thank God, right away. And so I started feeding her only with the best of the best, meaning the vegetables, the little soups, the little, everything that she did not had her first burger, which my ex nanny secretly took her to McDonald's and bought her, which I was not mad, but I was like, well, okay, when she was like 4 years old. But I had to sit down with her and explain her why it wasn't a good choice. And so now she knows why. And I always have to say, oh, pizza's this, pizza's doing this, the flavorings are doing that. So she constantly already been programmed while growing up why these choices would not benefit your body. And then we would look at also, I mean, it is kind of like, maybe I shouldn't say that, but when we're walking the streets or driving in the car, I would point out certain people and say, look at those people. How do they look? All right. Well, if you wanted to look like that, then we don't eat this. We don't, we only kind of like feeding little by little, not all the time, but like, so should be aware. And so now at school, when they have, like, say, Friday pizza, hanging out, whatever, she tells me, she's like, well, they're having pizza, and she's like, just make me extra healthy lunch so that way I have my own thing. So I was kind of like, oh wow, interesting.
Yeah, my daughter also loves pizza, but I make sure it's gluten free, and I always say, okay, something healthy, then you allow it to eat a little bit not so healthy food.
Yeah, but she ate pizza, but we only go to one place in LA, which is my friend who owns it. I know what kind of a pizza it is. It's a highly good ingredients, mozzarella, tomato, basil on a beautiful crust that he makes it from organic, everything. And that's the only pizza. And she only loves that kind of pizza. It's called grandma pizza. She's like, can we have a grandma? But lately when we drive by, I was like, do you want to have a grandma pizza? It's like once a month, every 2 months. She's like, no, not interested.
Perfect. Yesterday I had conversation with Dr. Mark Driscoll, co-founder at Intus Biosciences gut ID test. And what we discussed, that sometimes we crave sugar, we crave some unhealthy food, not because we obviously want it in our kind of brain, mind, because our unhealthy microbiome craves it. It thrives on some sugar, candida thrives
and
on
little
sugar.
parasites, candida, all that is, your microbiomes are asking for it.
Correct. Well, so you mentioned that you exercise 2-3 times per week, which is great. Resistance training, building muscles. It's so important for women's health. It's the biggest organ which utilizes actually glucose, and the more muscles we have, the more insulin sensitivity we have, and the less glucose spikes we will have. So, do you incorporate any specific supplements specifically for building muscles? Maybe creatine. I am exploring now Sheatin. It's a new supplement by JJ Virgin, like creatine, but especially for females, which she created especially to make sure it's more bioavailable for females. Anyways, what supplements do you take, and maybe some specific recommendations for improving your performance, for improving not only physical performance but also upgrading your brain? I know you pay a lot of attention to upgrade your brain. You use some devices. Where do you start with supplements? And yeah, tell me more about your supplements.
Yeah, that's a big part of my daily routine. So first of all, creatine. I know JJ Virgin has incredible creatine. It has magnesium in it, and what else? I don't take that, but she added 2 more ingredients to creatine, which is great. So it kind of illuminates you taking magnesium in a later day. So less pills in one kind of a stack. It's beautiful. I do take creatine. I do take a lot of supplements, but not in an everyday basis, the same supplements. So I pull supplements. I find for me it's the best throughout the week. Like my stack in the kitchen is pretty big, and I will come in, I will like, okay, so today this kind of a stack, tomorrow is this. So I kind of rotate everything around. So never, well, there's a couple of supplements. I would say 10 supplements are in a daily basis for sure. It's my probiotics. Can go with that specifically for me at this time, because our probiotics, they change as well. And you have to test your gut knowing what probiotics do you need at this moment. So I'm very
I prefer prebiotics, because probiotics,
probiotics and probiotics. Did I say prebiotics?
I mean
probiotics and probiotics.
Yeah, prebiotics, they usually, what I mean by prebiotics, I mean that fiber and fermented food, because once we take probiotics in pills, it comes with some exact strains, limited amount of strains, and sometimes you can notice on your testing of your microbiome there is some overgrowth of beneficial bacteria as well. So I like to observe more fiber and fermented food to make sure to feed microbiome, so then microbiome produces probiotics. So like what I am saying, that probiotics is not obvious supplement in my supplementation program, in my supplementation protocol. I just make sure to obtain a lot of fiber and fermented food. And I even sometimes supplement fiber from Purium, from some other companies, good fiber, because it's difficult to eat a lot of greens. Many dietitians, they suggest to eat a lot of greens, but
it's impossible. If you're busy, it's impossible.
Probiotics, what I'm saying, that probiotics, we need to constantly rotate them and make sure we don't take the same probiotics, or we just don't take probiotics at all, but we take a lot of fiber, fermented food. This is my approach, but
Yeah, I agree with you, but also I'm kind of like specializing now with all my clients on gut healing and testing. And so I do these tests all the time. I work with US Biotech. And what I see in myself as well for over the years, we do change all the different strains of probiotics, changes up every 6 months, I would say. And so I'd like to do, like for me, it's every 6 months. For normal people, once we get cleaned up, maybe I would say once a year, it's okay to do gut testing. And so we see which strains of probiotics do you need at this moment to help to get your flora back at a certain point. And so it's like strategically done. And so you rotate and you finish that, maybe you retest and see what else is going on. So adding probiotics in food and fiber with certain strains that your body need at this moment, which is beautiful. It's really hacking your biology, hacking your gut. So I do that, and I do after each training, I do BCAA. It's like a whey protein, and that actually I noticed that if I don't take that, my muscles would be more sore or more like achy, rather than if I take that. No problem. No matter how much weight I can do the lifting, my trainer would ask, "Are you in pain today?" I'm like, nope. But if I don't take BCAA, I'll know that I'm more achy. So that helps a lot. Of course, my amino acids, a lot of body health.
It's like amino acids, it's essential. I agree with you. I would not say that probiotics are essential unless you do such an advanced approach. When you retest, you always change them to make sure that you take different strains. So your approach is very advanced. I understand what do you mean. But normally for people, when they take the same probiotics, it's not the best strategy.
No, it's not the best. You shouldn't be taking the same. Oh, there's certain ones like Lactobacillus reuteri, which is great for women. It activates oxytocin. Every woman should be taking that forever, to tell you the truth, especially after 35. We need that, right? So, but yeah, I mean, so what else? I love
amino acids. You said it's like building
amino
blocks
acids.
for our
Of course,
muscles.
I add in my smoothie like maca, really good for hormones. I love. I add green powder. And then also I add always coca antioxidant, making sure every day. Also, I add hemp seeds, avocado for sure in my smoothie. So I make this smoothie with lots of powders. I love moringa powder, which is great for your skin and energy. That is always in my smoothie. And then, of course, I rotate different things for like D3 with K2 and M7. That's in my protocol at 5,000 units. In the summertime, I'm probably going to lay off because, you know, you're always at the pool, blah, blah, blah. But in the wintertime till summer, it's definitely every day. Like you said, certain fish oil, but I love the acid 15, the fatty acid 15. So I kind of stopped taking any fish oil. So I just take that.
No. I'm not saying fish oil because usually fish oil it has a high Totox level because it's heated. I don't mean fish oil. I mean just fatty fish, which is natural.
Right. No. I'm just saying I just don't take any more fish oil and the fish, you know, tablets. It's like so. What else? But I think for recovery and my best optimization has been peptides. I love peptides.
What do you take? Peptides? So do you mean peptides or bioregulators?
No, I do peptides injections. They do very well with me. So I started peptides injections about 3 years ago, and the first one was Epitalin, which I am rigorously doing it every 6 months for 10 days. Epitalin is for strengthening telomeres.
Yeah, but it's a bioregulator. It's bioregulator.
Injection form, if you can do it, the optimization is way faster and bigger than an oral form because a lot of people, their acid is too strong. They can't digest. They cannot really. So it goes person to person. So for me, I've noticed that injections are the best. Like for me right now, I love CJC and the Pomeralin. It just gives me an incredible strength, endurance, sleep performance. I just love it. Now I switched it to Pomeralin because I did 10 weeks CJC. I took off like 4 or 5 weeks. Now I'm doing just switching. I'm like always rotating. I'm never saying the same thing. I love GHK peptides for collagen, for just everything, skin, joints. I love oxytocin peptides, and I put all my clients, all my girlfriends are on oxytocin, and they love it so much. It's a happy little peptide. It gives you that little sexy, happy, that kind of a playful thing. And when we release oxytocin, that's adds to our longevity. What else do I have there in my fridge? I started doing testosterone. And why I'm doing testosterone, because again, data is really important. We are testing my markers. And let's say if I was just a girl who doesn't really, just, normal life, doesn't want to optimize, not like lifting, wanted to optimize my muscle strength. I was like, my testosterone was 30. So we're like, well, if you're building your muscles and you wanted to optimize, let's get your testosterone up to 100. So now I'm very microdosing 5 units to 10 units each week, once a week. And I cannot tell you how I am performing at the gym. I'm like showing up anytime, even like before the period, if I have to go work out, no problem. Full of energy, lifting weights. Like my trainer was like, wow, like he's been working with me for 2 years. He's like, this is incredible how much you can lift now. And so basically the testosterone CJC with the Pomeralin gave me this incredible endurance, amazing strength, and just the strength within. I was like, wow, this is like always staying in my routine now.
Epitalon is one of the best for longevity.
Epitalon every 6 months. But so what else did I add? And of course I do now. I've been doing it for 8 months, microdosing trizapadides. I'm not doing it for losing weight. I'm doing it for optimizing my metabolic health, because I'm a predisposition for diabetes. My mom has diabetes. Every time I test my glucose, it's always higher, meaning every time the doctors will say, well, we got to watch your, sugar, because you have a good diet, you're not diabetic, but like you're kind of a pre-diabetic. So I've been doing trizepatide diet just particular for that, and my markers went down. My metabolic health improves in every way, and it's just another longevity kick. So yes, I do microdosing 5 units, small little dosage once a week.
Yeah, I like that. Like you change your genes expression. It's like your predisposition on genetic level, but then you do certain interventions and you change your genes expression. It's so impressive. I like.
And going back to the brain. So I did one of the first tests with the DNA company. Remember Kashif?
Of course, he's speaking. He's speaking.
Yeah, I know. So I did first time when they came out in the market. I'm like, all right, I'm on. I'm doing the DNA. So I mean, before it was 23andMe, but I was like dinosaur, right? So so his DNA test, and I did that for my daughter as well to see what's her DNA. My showed I had slight ADHD, but it was shown in a daily basis, not slight, a little bit kind of like intermittent, because I couldn't focus completing tasks. I would be like having so many tasks, and I would be running around the house. I would be like doing.
I can relate.
I would remember something in the kitchen. Then from the kitchen I run there, and then I would be doing circles. It's not like I'm sitting, I'm completing. It would be circles. I'm like, this is ridiculous. And then I had certain pathways in my brain where also addiction and impulsiveness. So I'm very impulsive, and for me would come up in the shopping, like, I need to always get something new. Doesn't matter, it's clothes, shoes, kitchen stuff, anything I had to buy. You know what I mean? It makes me kind of impulsive, makes me happy, and it became even more crazy and crazy. Like I could go some crazy shoppings when I'm in Europe. Even my girlfriends, they're like, "Are you crazy?" So anyway, I did the brain scan. Sorry to interrupt. I did a brain scan with this company in Pasadena. It's out of my mind. But now they saw in my pathway right here on the right side that is red, which we need to fix. It's like ADHD, impulsiveness, addiction. So I've been wearing this special cap at home 3 times a week, 20 minutes a session. And then I did 25 sessions. We retested, we did the scan, and it's all cleared. And soon as I started doing that training, within the 3 weeks, my productivity was skyrocketed. I completed every task at no problem. I don't have impulsiveness on shopping right now. If I need it, I will buy it, but it's not like every day. Or like, what else can I buy?
So that's good. That's great hack for people who don't want to shop a lot. They can just do neurofeedback, optimize their brain, and be more concentrated, and I need less shopping.
Yeah, I think it's the best thing I've done for my brain. And before that, I was actually even, to laugh a little about this, I was talking to my girlfriend. I was like, I need to fix this problem. I said, maybe I need to find a healer, maybe who can, help with my addictions. And we actually called one healer in Israel. And this is funny. You're going to laugh this. We were talking because my girlfriend's like, he fixed when I worked with him before, he fixed my certain problems. I'm like, let's call him. We called him up. And we were like, well, my girlfriend, she has these problems. And I was talking to him, and he was almost like laughing. He's like, yeah, this problem will take a lot more sessions. And I was like, how much is it? He's like, yeah, it's going to be a lot of money. And I'm like, okay, I'm not doing that. This is stupid. Thank God I found the brain device, the scan, which fixed me. Yes, it's expensive, but it's worth every penny. I don't know how long will I be fixed? I mean, will they stay like this for a long time, or do I need to go back and to redo it in 1 year? I don't know. I have to talk to them and see, probably retest in 1 year, see where we at. So I'm kind of new at this. As we're speaking, I'm doing this training and retesting. So definitely I would be retesting and doing that. And it would be, great to see if that will stay. And they have a tremendous success with autistic kids. They've helped so many autistic
Yeah,
kids in their
it's
institute.
neurofeedback. It's neurofeedback because neurofeedback is very good for improving autistic syndrome and even improving cognition for kids as well, for everyone, for kids
Yeah.
specifically. It's neurofeedback, right? Yeah, it's
But
interesting.
yeah, it's beautiful. I
If
think everyone should do it if anyone needs, improvement in their head, in their brain.
Yes, brain training, improving cognition is very important. And you know that this vagus nerve sends information from brain to body and back from body to brain. And 20% goes from the brain to body, and 80%, so much more information goes from the body to brain. That's why it's important also all that somatic body practices which release tension in body, and then the relaxed body sends information to our brain to relax as well. It's very
Yeah.
good for stress reduction. And I know that you incorporate some somatic bodily practices, even yoga, breath work. I'm sure
Oh,
you
yeah,
do
I've been
this.
doing energy work since my dad taught me. He was a very powerful bioenergetic. So he taught me a lot. And then I worked with a lot of shamans in Siberia. They taught me beautiful energetic work. And so I continuously over the years doing energetic work. And thank God I live now in a beautiful desert. I have as much land as I can, and to do this on my own background, which is beautiful energy. But yeah, it's really important. And then going back to the vagus nerve, I just did the neural check,
Yeah.
where they inject your vagus nerve and ganglia with the special solution and releases your cortisol, basically resets your cortisol and brings you into this amazing state. As we know, being busy, traveling, doing these stuff, naturally your cortisol will go up. And it's kind of like, I kind of burnt out, to tell the truth, at the end of the year. Literally,
Yeah,
after once I finished my last conference in December, I came home and I was so empty. And I went to my Dr. Clement Lee in Pasadena, and I said, let's do it. And he did it. And it literally reset me very beautifully and fast.
yeah, cortisol goes up at any time
Yeah.
when we are stressed. It's the main stress hormone,
Yeah.
catabolic state. Yeah. So, what made you move to desert? What is the decision? Like, it's very big decision. Like, it's very big move from the city to desert. How
Yeah.
it looks
Well,
like.
first of all, going back, I always been coming to Palm Springs since I was 23 years old. And the desert always rejuvenated me. 4 times a year, that was in my routine. I used to go to Two Bunch Palms. I don't know about Two Bunch Palms. It's a beautiful resort in a desert, in a hot springs, natural hot springs. They have bungalows. I would just come for 3 4 days and totally rejuvenate for next 3 months. So I would do that for years. And I always knew that one day I'm going to be living here. I'm going to have a house. And it happened. So when I was transforming my life from my fashion industry, LA was becoming really, as we know, not a great city to live, homeless, dirty, not safe. And just being in the car all the time, it was just stressing me out so much. I couldn't focus on anything, like you literally get in the car in the morning and you drive all day long from one space to another and it was like, wow, this is just draining and it's aging you. So, and I just made that decision. It was during the COVID. It was literally January 2020 when I came to my house, and I already had a house here in a desert, and because I was going back and forth, kind of like a vacation home, and we never left because COVID started, and we just never left. And that whole experience, I understood how amazing the lifestyle to be in peace and surrender, being in the land. I'm literally living in the mountains, surrounded by, and I don't even go anywhere from my house. I live in a beautiful country club, of course. My lifestyle is all in the golf cart. I have a gym, I have a golf, tennis, school's 5 minutes. If I need to go to a store, which I do once a week, Whole Foods, if I need extra things, it's like 7 minutes away, 5 minutes away. You know what I mean? So everything is here. And every weekend I go to LA. And it's stressful. Like you literally in the car all day. And I'm like, thank God I do not live in the city anymore. And literally it also helped to rejuvenate, and for me to become even younger, living in this beautiful, serene place and be more productive. I started cooking at home. I started being an amazing mom because I'm at home all the time, spending time with my daughter, picking her up from school. We can go play tennis, little golf, drive on the golf cart, you know what I mean, have a pool. So it just became like the lifestyle that I could not, I imagined, but
It
like,
sounds like a dream. Sounds like a dream.
it
And
is a
see,
dream. It is a dream. Yes, it is a dream. But you know what? Even when I started switching that moment when, you asked me how did I started and really optimizing my body, I literally had to optimize my life. I had to sit down with myself and literally ask myself, how do I see my life? Not just my health, but my life in general. From the moment I wake up, where do I want to see myself living? In which environment? How do I go hour by hour? And I literally envisioned this life, literally envisioned this life, and then it happened within the 2 years. It happens. It's just the life, the source, the energy literally moved me and put me in a place where, even though I had the place, but I was like not imagining and being here. But the life is like, this is what you imagine. This is where you need to be.
yeah, you changed your internal and external environment.
Yeah.
You biohacked your life.
I
Sounds
biohacked my life. Yeah. That's so
sounds
true.
great. But I know that you still do your podcast. You record your podcast in Los Angeles. So it means
Right.
you travel to record your podcast and you have very interesting guests. What was the main takeaways from your guests? What you recently learned from your guests? And why you actually record your podcast in LA? The name of the podcast, Wellness is Life.
Right.
Good, good, good.
Thank you,
Yeah.
thank you. Yes, my studio is in Hollywood.
Mhm.
It's a beautiful studio, and I love doing it in person. I love meeting people, connecting.
Sure.
I'm very that kind of a person. And so, yeah, I go to LA sometimes every weekend, sometimes every other weekend, depends. I love interviewing the best of the best because I'm continue learning everything, and every guest that comes to my podcast, I've learned so much, and
Mhm.
implementing these things, and also sharing with the world. And now I've been doing this podcast for almost a year and 2 months. And just in past 3 months, we see such an incredible traction on YouTube. Our subscribers
Mhm.
grew. The last podcast I just did was Dr. Jonathan Koo in New York. Literally in 6 days, we have like more than 2,000 views. I'm like, oh my God, this is so amazing that I'm
Yeah.
making impact, not just for myself, but also for other people around the world listening and getting these incredible information. So I'm doing it for myself, but also for others. And what I've
Yeah.
learned the most from every guest when I ask them, what's important for you in your daily routine or just in
Mhm.
life in general, they all say mindfulness.
Mhm. Yes, so smart decision to move to the desert where you have this coherence with natural, ever-changing scalar frequencies. You have less EMFs, you have less antennas, and you have more like nature, more coherent energy, and it
Yeah.
obviously optimizes your mind for sure. I totally understand. And then you also can escape, or better to say, just not escape because it's nothing to escape. Living in desert with this beautiful environment and with all these natural frequencies, it's not the place to escape. It's the place to enjoy. However, you also can go to Los Angeles, to Hollywood studio, and to record your professional podcast because we cannot be that we are not monks. We still want to live this
Yes,
fulfilled
absolutely. I
and
still have my girlfriends. I still like, all
yeah.
my friends, everybody. My whole life has been in LA. So even though I
Mhm.
hide here, I rejuvenate, and then I
Mhm.
go and I give it to the people, give it to the world. And that I think I found this is the best way
Balance.
for
You
my
found your
balance.
best
Yes, I
balance.
found my balance.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so sounds like you found your balance and you are on the right way for optimizing your health and promoting your longevity. I'm so proud of you. I'm
Thank
so
you.
inspired by you, and
Thank
I'm going
you.
to follow and maybe ask you some recommendations on peptides because I also do some peptides, GHC copper for sure, some BPC 157 orally, by the way, because orally
Okay.
it heals inflammation. But I
Yeah, I know it's
venture
great
to
for the gut, Mm-hmm.
yeah, yeah. But the Pitalon, obviously, in my routine for some time, I want to know how often I should take it?
Every 6 months, 10 days.
Cool.
So that's
Cool.
all you do. And then going back to optimizing more telomeres on an everyday basis, you take TA65. I learned about TA65 a long time ago because I'm a golfer, and I played golf with this one gentleman a few times, and he was in his 70s, and I saw him winning all these tournaments, young guys, and he was just at 70, just a beautiful. It didn't look like it was 70. He looked like he was 60, maybe 58. Even his skin was incredible. I'm like, what do you do? What's your secrets? And he said then he lived in Florida. He said he's working with the Longevity Institute. One of the doctor, the lady that he had, she would test him for telomeres, and they would give him pharmaceutical prescription of certain a strength of TA65. I'm like, oh, TA65. So I Googled, as we know, TA65 won a Nobel Prize for that molecule. And I started taking that. And I remember back in the days in my 30s, my lifestyle wasn't the best. For me to play 18 holes, it was such a drag. I could play 9, but 18 would be like, oh my God. And then I started taking TA65. I'm like, game on. Let's do another 18. So I really highly recommend people who need that extra boost in their energy, cellular level. It's even better than NAD, to tell you the truth. TA65 on an everyday basis, boom. There's a great company, TA Science. They have actually one of the most potent TA65. So you should check it out. I love it.
Yeah, I recently tested my biological age, and I have a little bit more length of telomeres that I should have. So I'm on a good track. Yeah, I'm on a good track. But I want to improve it even more. And I retest from time to time my biological age with True Age by True Diagnostic. You obviously know this test, and I like their True Health test because you should think about this as about micronutrient panel, and they also show you how many toxins, heavy metals.
Yeah, I run Nutristat as well on my panels from US Biotech.
Great. I'm looking forward to meet you in person in Miami.
I'm so excited. That would be fun. I love Miami. I actually lived in Miami as well for a year, and then I always been going to Miami. So I love Miami.
So look forward to have you as a speaker with us at Ultimate Wellness Conference at Faena Forum in Miami Beach on September 26th through 28th. You will be participating at the panel discussion about women's health, and we are excited to learn from you. And I know that many of our guests would be interested to ask questions. And, so excited to meet your daughter as well, and hope they will enjoy this weekend, this transformative weekend all together. So just want to remind that dear guests, dear followers, you can buy your ticket with additional discount by promo code Natalia at ultimatewellness.miami/forum. Please join us at Faena Forum on September 26th through 28th.
Thank you so much. See you soon. Bye.
See you soon. Bye.